Sophie Cunningham lifts lid on Caitlin Clark relationship and her behavior off-court. Indiana Fever guard Sophie Cunningham has been keeping Caitlin Clark's ego in check in an attempt to bring the WNBA star back down to earth. Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham have formed a close bond. Getty Images. Indiana Fever guard Sophie Cunningham playfully disclosed that she is constantly working to keep Caitlin Clark's ego in check. After an injury-plagued regular season, Clark is unable to participate in the WNBA playoffs since the Fever excluded her from the postseason roster. Cunningham, who recently pulled no punches with her verdict on Angel Reese, faces the same situation due to a torn MCL in her right knee. While sharing the court, but primarily the bench throughout the 2025 season, Clark and Cunningham have formed a strong friendship that the latter compared to the bond she shares with her cousins. It comes after Paige Buchers opted against following Clark's lead with a bold financial decision. Read more. Donald Trump told brutal truth by Ryder Cup chief after U.S. Open final chaos. Read more. Ryder Cup humiliation saw Scottie Scheffler left in tears on course. Given their closeness, Cunningham doesn't hesitate to take light-hearted shots at Clark despite her position as the league's premier star. "She's just a big kid, you know what I mean," Cunningham remarked during her guest spot on the Old Man and Three podcast. "She is so phenomenal and so elite at her craft. A generational talent. I don't think I have to hype her up anymore. In fact, we need to get her head a little bit down, and that's what I've done. We've had a fun relationship so far. She loves hard, but at the end of the day she's like one of my little cousins. She's the age of them, she acts like. I'm just like, dude, you're a dweeb. Like, you are the biggest dork I've probably ever met, and just somehow you know how to shoot from far out. And you're really great at passing." Due to the numerous health issues that plagued both players, Cunningham and Clark managed to share the court for only 11 games this season. The top selection in the 2024 WNBA draft was restricted to a mere 13 appearances overall while dealing with left quad and groin ailments, plus a bone bruise in her left ankle that occurred during an August training session. However, when both athletes were healthy enough to compete, Cunningham treasured the chance to play and develop alongside Clark. "I know when she was playing, she was coming back from injury too, but she had kind of an off year of shooting when she was able to play," Cunningham said of Clark. "And I think that's normal. You're never just going to always be on up here. But when she was locked in, it was so fun to watch her play because she was 4 steps ahead of everyone else. She was like, hey, we need to run this so we can do this. And then defensively, if you do this, like she's on a whole nother level. It was really cool to kind of see how her brain works when you're in the fight with her. Hopefully we'll get more of that down the road, but there's just some things that you can't teach. And she just has a lot of those things." The Indiana Fever locker room has become one of the most fascinating hubs in the WNBA. Not because of just the X's and O's of basketball, but because of the personalities who now fill it. Sophie Cunningham, newly minted as one of the Fever's emotional leaders, recently pulled back the curtain on her relationship with Caitlin Clark, and in doing so, she gave the world a glimpse of who the rookie phenom really is when the cameras switch off. 4 months, Clark has lived under the relentless gaze of fans, critics, and opponents alike. Every three-pointer, every foul, every interaction is magnified and debated. But to Cunningham, the reality of Clark isn't the polarizing headlines or highlight reels. It's the person who walks into the facility in sweats, clutching a coffee, hair tied up, smiling as if she hasn't carried the weight of expectations since she was 18. "People see the killer competitor," Cunningham explained in a recent interview. "They see the swagger, the logo threes, the way she chirps at refs. But off the court? She's the goofiest kid you'll ever meet. Like, straight-up dweeb vibes. And I mean that with love." It's that balance between fierceness on the hardwood and humility off it that has fascinated Cunningham most since joining forces with Clark. "We've got this dynamic where I'll push her buttons and she'll fire back at me, but it's all in good fun. She keeps it light, and honestly, that's important in this league. You don't last if you're wound up tight all the time." The rookie everyone wants a piece of. Clark's rookie season has been unlike anything women's basketball has ever seen. Endorsements, sellout arenas, and cameras following her every step. Some veterans might resent that attention. Cunningham, though, seems to thrive in it, because she understands how Clark handles it. She doesn't act like a superstar when she's around us, Cunningham said. She's just Caitlin. She'll trip over her own shoes walking into the gym, laugh about it, then drop 25 points in practice like it's nothing. That's the duality of her. That's what makes her real. The Fever have leaned into this authenticity. Cunningham, who has built her own reputation as an enforcer type, finds herself taking on a protective role. But what surprises her is how little Clark lets the noise bother her when the sneakers come off. She'll scroll through social media, see people roasting her, and instead of getting mad, she'll send me the post like, "Sophie, look how bad they hate me today." Then she laughs. Like, who does that? That's Caitlin. Bonding beyond basketball. The Cunningham-Clark relationship goes beyond basketball strategy or shared practice reps. Off the floor, the two have forged a kind of sisterly bond. They've developed routines, post-game dinners, late-night FaceTimes when the pressure gets heavy, even trash-talking each other over board games. She's terrible at Uno, Cunningham confessed with a grin. Like, I mean it, horrible. She'll get all confident, think she's about to win, and then I'll slap down a draw 4 and watch her face drop. She gets so dramatic. That's the Caitlin no one sees. This off-court looseness has been a grounding force for the Fever. Cunningham notes that Clark doesn't hide from her rookie struggles, either. When she has a bad shooting night or feels overwhelmed by defenses, she's not afraid to laugh at herself before getting back to work. That's her superpower, she's human. She lets herself be vulnerable around us. And that's why we've bought in. She's not above the team. She's part of us. Teaching and learning. Cunningham has quickly become a mentor figure, though she admits she learns from Clark just as much as she teaches. The way she processes the game? I've never seen it. She'll watch film at midnight, then text me like, "Hey, on that ball screen in the third quarter, what if we flipped it?" I'm like, "Girl, I was asleep by 10. But that's who she is. She's obsessed in the best way. Still, the veteran has made it clear, she doesn't let Clark off easy. I call her out. If she's being passive, I'll get in her ear. If she's barking too much at refs, I'll pull her aside and be like, "Chill. Save your energy." She respects that. She doesn't want yes women around her.